The efficient market hypothesis supposes that the market adjusts quickly to new information, which makes it nearly impossible to beat the market. Strategies like buy and hold and dollar cost averaging take the efficient market for granted. Yet, it's just a hypothesis. It's right there in the name, efficient market hypothesis, and there are totally competing types of hypotheses. In other words, there are plenty of people who still try to beat the market. Keep listening for some ideas.
Hey, and welcome to Wealth Wisdom Financial Podcast and YouTube channel. We believe when conventional financial wisdom doesn't get you where you want to go, you need to go back to wealth wisdom. So don't forget, hit that subscribe button. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit up, do the like, the thumbs up, whatever, and give us a comment below because we'd love to hear from you. Now, we want to be very clear here from the beginning. We are not going to tell you some Reddit thread to subscribe to. We don't have any insider knowledge, unfortunately, for you about the latest hot stocks. Just to let you know in advance, if you're looking for GameStop advice or anything like that, not going to find it here. We aren't even going to promote a contrarian approach to investing. We're just going to lay it out for you.
We will remind you, though, of a very important lesson. Brandon, you should take this lesson because I'm going to talk most of the time of this episode since I'm the one that studied the efficient market hypothesis more. But this lesson is super core.
Yeah, investing is different than saving. And the ageless wisdom says to only invest money that you can afford to lose, right? And this is, again, very interesting because we'll put money into a 401k and say it's savings, but it's not. It's actually investing. Investing is optional. And really, if you want to invest, that's great. But remember, investing, savings, two different things.
So let's talk to you folks that you do have money you can't afford to lose and you're thinking about investing. How might you beat the market? And we're going to turn this upside down and all around for you. Get ready.
Here goes.
Roller coaster time.
Wait, are you talking about the market?
No, oh, yeah. Pun intended. Love it. Okay, here we go. We got three main ideas and a fourth one that's just going to, okay, you ready for this? Big idea number one, buy and hold until you reach a rate of return that you decided before you bought. So let's say you're about to invest. You say, okay, this money that I'm going to invest, I want it to make X% rate of return for me. I'm going to buy this stock. When it reaches X%, I'm going to sell it. Maybe wait, make sure I get into long-term capital gains territory. Think through those kind of things too. But what this is really about is to stop chasing bigger and bigger returns. Some people call Wall Street a casino. And just like a casino, chasing that bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger return is when people lose their money.
Yeah, I think that's when you're winning. All of a sudden, I'm just going to put a little more in. And this is the thing I think is important to you personally, if you're in this, is understand what rate of return is, what it is, how to read those things maybe is helpful, which is really hard to do. But knowing when to make a change is really, really important.
Yeah. And the folks out there will say, but the market always goes up. I can get bigger and bigger the longer I stay in. And we'll just remind you that tons of people lost 20% or more in 2022. Real life. So think about that too. Okay. So that's big idea number one. Set a return. Once you get that return, get out.
And the next two involve playing a different game where volatility is your opportunity rather than destroying your compounding. Volatility is your opportunity rather than destroying your compounding. I think this is a very different way of thinking about the market, which people don't even think about.
So the first way that you can make volatility your opportunity is if you're doing dollar cost averaging, increase the dollars that you put into the market when it is down and decrease the dollars you put in when it is up. So let's just say you're putting in $100 a week and you get that in, every single week, you're faithful to it. When you see that there's volatility in the market takes a dive, maybe that week you put in 200, right? And then when you see, the market increased way a lot this week, I'm only going to buy 50 because they always say you buy low, you sell high, right? If you're buying high, then you're not going to beat the market. And part of the dollar cost averaging is to get into that habit, and that's just a little tweak that some people use to try to beat the market.
I think the hardest part, and this is the challenge that I'm always faced with, is what is up and what is down. Like, when is it high and when is it low? And you ask anybody, some people will say, we are up. And other people say, we could keep going down. And that's a hard thing to know of, the market's down. Well, is it really down or is it going to go down more? And the honest truth is nobody knows. Mm-hmm. And that's the hard part. And you have to figure out what is up and down for you.
Yeah, it's going to take more time, more active involvement than just passing things off to somebody else. Here's one, my favorite, although it's still not the fourth one that's going to blow your mind. This is where we're using volatility as our opportunity. It's to keep cash available for those once-in-a-decade opportunities and then be very patient. Now, one thing we didn't talk about with the first option, where you're setting a rate of return and then you're selling once you hit that, is that a lot of people, that's hard. That takes a lot of discipline, a lot of chutzpah to be like, okay, I got it, I'm gonna sell. This one, for a lot of people, is gonna be even harder. To be that patient where you only invest once a decade,
right?
Right? But can you imagine being the guy or the gal back in 2000, 2001, or 2008, 2009 that had a whole bunch of cash available that could go buy when the market was down 50% or 30% or whatever it is, set that rate of return like we talked about in number one. Once you get that, you're back to cash, right? But you're not just keeping cash under a mattress. You're being smart about it, using strategies that help it grow and even grow even when you access it. Listen to more of our episodes if that's confusing. But how cool would that be? Now you have to be very patient. You have to wait for those once-in-a-decade opportunities. But if we're looking at even long-term history, the last 100+ years of people in the market and using the stock market, those opportunities have come up time and time again, sometimes multiple times in a decade.
Yeah, and I think having that cash available, just look at Shark Tank and things like that. Having cash available to buy certain deals, maybe in a good time or not, but I think of Mark Cuban, man, he has some cash available for opportunities.
That is a great point, because when we're talking about investing, it doesn't have to be just stocks, bonds, mutual funds, index funds, those kind of things. It could also be investing in your business, investing in real estate. And you could take all these things that we're talking about, dollar cost averaging, waiting for those once in a decade opportunities, those kind of things, and you could apply them in any area that you would invest and not just the stock market.
Or like we did, investing in real estate for your business, something like that.
Yeah. Now, for those of you out there that are like, but wait, efficient market hypothesis was developed by scientists. It was developed by people with PhDs in economics. How could you think that you could do better than what they put out there? As the market's efficient, it adjusts quickly, you can't really beat the market, just settle for, buy and hold for 30 years or as long as you can and be done with it. Just be passive, buy the index fund, keep going.
I was just thinking about, human minds and things like that we don't really talk about. Whenever we come to economists, we don't talk about human behavior.
Oh yeah, well, so the efficient market hypothesis would include psychology and emotion as part of what the information that the market adjusts to quickly.
Like GameStop or something.
Yeah,
Okay.
And there's weak forms and strong forms, blah, blah, blah. Here's the most important thing. Economics is a social science. It is not like physics, biology, other things that are physical sciences where you can have a hypothesis, you can test it, it can be proved right or wrong in a laboratory or something like that. Economics is a social science. I love social sciences. I think they're amazing, but they change very rapidly. And there's a lot of information still unknown about social sciences. And yet, people treat things like the efficient market hypothesis like E equals MC squared, like the physics, like the calculus, right? Things that are proven. And even though they're still kind of hypotheses, we don't understand everything, they're way more proven. Whereas economics is not that. It is not, the efficient market hypothesis is not the equivalent of E equals MC squared. You can play with it, you can test it, you can see what is actually true for you, which is where I want to conclude with today is this fourth big idea. Before I go there, anything you want to add to that, Brandon?
I would say that this is something I've thought about where certain people, like, you'll see videos. Look up the 4% rule on YouTube, right? And there's rules and things of, well, if you have this amount of money, you can take out 4% from your retirement account and you'll be okay. But now, again, it was an economic theory that somebody said and it made sense maybe in the 80s or whatever. But now people are saying, oh, that could be wrong, probably is wrong. And there's been PhDs who have actually disproved that. But people are still living off or doing things off of old systems that have changed, right?
Yeah.
Because of, I don't know, the world around us, COVID might have affected it. That wasn't thought about in the 80s, right?
Or low interest rates, environments, all the things.
All kinds of stuff. And so for me, I'm just thinking about, as that changes, being aware that money and some of this economic theory, really, we got to go back to ourselves.
Which is where I'm going with number 4. So don't believe every hypothesis. Don't even trust every PhD. Do what you enjoy and can gain expertise in.
Yeah.
You may make more or less of a return, but chances are you'll experience some major personal development. Wealth building is an adventure. We say it around here all the time. Make sure that adventure of building your wealth is customized to what you're going to actually enjoy and what's going to make you become a better person. Who you become is way more important than what you accumulate. Let me say that again. Who you become is way more important than what you accumulate. The market, it might be efficient, it might not be efficient. Who knows, right? It's just a theory. But it's not efficient when you're thinking about who you might become. And the way to beat the market, to beat just the people that are in there only to accumulate wealth, to play the game, to engage, is to make sure that whether you make or lose money, that you become a better person, because then that's going to carry with you for the rest of your life. The money may fade away, but who you become just gets stronger and stronger.
And the other part is that you could have an efficient market. And I mean, for you, like in the future, I don't know, might not have a job. The market is efficient, but we don't have employment. And that doesn't matter if you don't have income, right?
Right. The stock market and the economy, very different things.
Yeah. So those are things to think about. Again, it's complicated, but really it's up to you, the individual. Take ownership of your own financial life. Because it's your financial life and not even just some stock guy or girl or us on our team, right? We want to help you, right? But it's your life, your future.
Are you ready for an approach to wealth building that prioritizes personal development over seeking a phantom rate of return? We'd love to answer your initial questions and see how we might help you make that happen. Schedule a discovery call with us. It's available at wealthwisdomfp.com. You can read all about how we work, what we do there, but the best way to learn about what we do is to schedule that discovery call, 15 minutes to answer your questions and see if we're a good fit to work together. Again, the website is wealthwisdomfp.com.
Thanks for joining us. Don't forget